Welcome back to the Velveteen Reader, where stories linger like velvet. Tonight, before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to relax. On the count of 4, we're going to take an inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. And out. Perfect. We're going to release the tension from our shoulders and our neck. We're going to settle in comfortably into our seated or lying down position. And let's begin. Tonight's story is about mercy, about how strength and softness can live in the same heart. It reminds us that grace doesn't always roar. Sometimes it squeaks. Let's settle in together and journey where golden light meets quiet courage. This is The Lion and the Mouse. Part 1. The afternoon sun dripped like honey over the endless savanna. Waves of heat simmered across the plains, bending the air into liquid gold. Beneath an ancient tree, where time itself seemed to rest, a lion slept. His mane was a halo of bronze and flame, his breath slow, steady, regal, carried the rhythm of something eternal. Each exhale sent a soft tremor through the earth, as though the land itself inhaled and exhaled with him. Around him, the world behaved differently. Birds spoke in whispers, the wind walked lightly, even the insects seemed to hum in reverence. To see him there was to witness balance, power without motion, dominance without cruelty. The lion was the law and the lullaby of this kingdom. But all kings, no matter how mighty, must share their realm with chance. Not far from his resting place, a small creature darted through the tall grass. A mouse, no bigger than a fallen leaf, moving with the rhythm of the cautious and the unseen. Her world was one of shadows and quick escapes. The scent of predators lingered in every breeze, yet she pressed on, guided by hunger and instinct. Just a little further, she thought. Just one more seed, one more crumb. She did not know that she was walking straight into the paws of destiny. Her tiny feet brushed against something solid, warm, alive. Before she could breathe, the world darkened beneath the shadow. The lion's paw fell, pinning her to the ground. The air left her lungs in a single frightening squeak. His eyes opened, golden, unblinking, ancient as the sun. "Who disturbs my sleep?" he rumbled, his voice rolling through her bones like distant thunder. The mouse trembled, her thoughts scattered like sand in the wind. But then, somewhere between fear and faith, her courage found its voice. "Please, Your Majesty," she whispered. "I meant no harm. I didn't see you there. If you spare me, I'll find a way to repay your kindness." The lion tilted his head. A smile tugged at the corners of his mouth, part amusement, part curiosity. "You repay me." His laugh shook the branches overhead. "Little one, what could you possibly give to a king?" The mouse swallowed, her tiny heart pounding. "Perhaps something only the small can offer," she said softly. The lion's gaze lingered, and something in her sincerity disarmed him. Strength recognized innocence. Majesty bowed to mercy. With a slow, deliberate motion, he lifted his paw. "Go then," he said, "and may your courage serve you better than it did today." The mouse darted away, her small frame disappearing into the wild, leaving only the faintest ripple of possibility behind her. We never know which of our mercies will find their way back to us, but the universe always remembers kindness. Part 2. The days moved on. Seasons have short memories on the savanna. The lion forgot about the mouse, as kings often forget about miracles too small to measure, until one crimson afternoon when fate called in the dead. He had been following the scent of a gazelle, his muscles taut, his breath deliberate, when suddenly the ground betrayed him. A net snapped up from the grass, heavy ropes ensnaring his legs, his torso, his mane. He roared once, twice, 3 times, and the world answered only in echoes. Birds scattered, dust rose, silence followed, but the ropes held fast. The more he struggled, the tighter they pulled. He felt rage rise at first, raw, defiant, but then fear. And maybe something deeper? Humility? So this, he thought, panting, is what it feels like to be small. His strength was useless, his roar powerless, his crown invisible. Above him, the sky began to darken, purple bleeding into the night, and for the first time, the king of the savanna wept in silence. We are all brought low eventually, and when we are, the universe often sends what we once overlooked. Part 3. From a distance, the tiny mouse heard a sound that made her blood run cold. It was not the roar of dominance, but the cry of despair. She knew that voice, the same one that had once shaken the earth beneath her paws. Without hesitation, she followed it through the grass, weaving between thorns, guided only by sound and memory. When she reached him, her breath caught. The mighty lion, the sun-made king, hung there tangled in ropes, his golden mane dulled by struggle, his eyes dimmed with exhaustion. For a moment, she hesitated. Fear whispered, "This is not your battle." But gratitude answered, "Yes, it is." She climbed the ropes, her teeth sharp and steady. She bit, chewed, bit again. Hours passed, and her jaws ached, but she did not stop. The lion watched her in stunned silence, this tiny creature, tearing through these bindings that had just defeated his strength. Piece by piece, thread by thread, the net began to loosen. And when the final strand broke, the lion stumbled free, gasping, his heart heavy with something new. Gratitude. "You saved me," he whispered, his voice breaking. The mouse smiled, whiskers trembling with pride and relief. "I told you, Your Majesty," she said softly. "Even a little mouse can help a lion." The lion bowed his head, lowering himself to the ground, not as a king, not as a predator, but as a soul grateful to another. Part 4. So as the seasons rolled by, they remained unlikely friends, the lion and the mouse. The lion, whose roar once ruled the plains, learned that power without humility is a cage of its own making. The mouse, whose life was measured in heartbeats, learned that courage could live in the smallest of bodies. Together, they proved a sacred truth: that mercy multiplies, that grace, once given, always circles back. Some would say that the mouse repaid a favor, but perhaps she simply returned a reflection of love that the lion had forgotten was his. So remember, my friends, life is a circle of giving and receiving. Power means little if it cannot bend towards compassion, and no act of kindness, no matter how small it is ever wasted. The end. Thank you for reading with me, the Velveteen Reader. If you'd like more nights like this, subscribe and join me again. Until then, breathe deep, rest well, and sweet dreams.